from Rainier Avenue Radio. It is your host, Queen Bri, in the house. What's up? And I have, I guess you're going to be a co-host today. Our co-host slash guest. Why was I about to say doctor? I mean, look at the Lord speaking things in existence. We have with us today Tay Proctor in the building. Tay Proctor-Mills, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I keep leaving off the Mills part. No disrespect to your.
Good, it's a long name.
Yeah. No problem. Woo! I'm still catching my breath. I was running a little close to time today. Girl's a little out of shape, but it's perfect timing because Trey is going to be in the building talking to us about healthier habits, eating habits. But before we get started, I just wanted to make an announcement. Do not forget, please mark your dates for June 21st and June 28th. Clean Greens is taking up your weekends the last couple of weeks of June. So this weekend we'll be having a meet and greet with our youth in our community at our garden. We're going to be filling in planters at the Martin Luther King site. So I know that I've mentioned this before, that we are going to be we're going to be adding on to our sites. So we have our main site with our youth that they'll be working out through the summer. And then we're going to start building more sites this summer. So this is exciting. So usually they just work in one area. This year, they're going to be able to go to 2, maybe 3 different areas. So June 21st, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then the following weekend is our seasoning opener. I'm so excited about that. We're having a boots on the ground season opener from 11 to 2 p.m. There'll be food. There'll be games. There'll be, fresh produce. There'll be a little Zumba in the building. So please join us June 28th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right. So, Trey, welcome back. So happy to have you here again.
Thanks for having me.
Last week we had Trey in with Nadia Miller, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nadia Miller. I used to be so good with names until I had kids. Now I'm like, what was that person's name? I don't know if you guys ever seen Devil Wears Prada, where she had her assistant walking around with the names and faces of folks so she can remember their names. But we had Tay, look at me, Tay, huh?
Butchering
it all the way up. Tay and Nadia in the building last week talking about the Black and Tan. Tay is the resident chef there. He was talking about, he talks about the food and how to pair food with wines. But today we're going to be talking about his journey of becoming, look, I'm about to butcher this, vegetarian. I keep getting it mixed up because most people choose vegan. And so I keep thinking vegan. 2, sorry to Daniel. I was supposed to put in a request for you to bring samples as we talked about this.
Oh,
but
I would have plugged you guys.
But there's always next week.
I got you guys.
But this week was so busy, so I didn't get to text you. But come on, tell us about what it means to be. Wait, so you're a vegetarian, but you also cook meats.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to get into this. So what brought you? Tell us a little bit about yourself first. So for people who didn't tune in last week or tuning in this week, just give us a little snippet of who you are and your journey to becoming resident chef.
I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington, from the Central District. Grew up on 20th and Spruce.
See?
I've been cooking. Learned how to start cooking when I was 5 years old from my auntie. From there, I've been an athlete, so it's hard to be an athlete and go to school to be a chef at the same time. So I played football and basketball, and once I got that out of my system, I went to culinary school for a few quarters. At the same time, I had a daughter, had to work full time and going to school full time, so something had to give. So I ended up giving up culinary school and just going to the kitchen full time and just grinding every day and putting my passion in everything I love. So from there, I just went on to every stop until I grew or outgrew the situation. Whatever positions came about, whether it was washing dishes, whether it was prep work, like whatever little work. Then around 2014, I got my first chance to be a head chef at Nate's Wings and Waffles. Created that menu, put that menu in place. That is now Dre's Lake Route. And a lot of my items that I created are still on that menu today. So that's something I'm proud of. From there, I just kept going, created a catering company, created a nonprofit. And then once I actually met Nadia and got a chance to walk into the Black and Tan Hall, I knew that was a place I had to be, just because once you walk into that place, it eats you up, it grabs you in, and you just feel a vibe. You feel everything that the Black and Tan has to offer, all the possibilities that you could do. So that's how I initially became the resident chef at Black and Tan Hall.
I love this. I love, let's not gloss over the fact that you said at one point you were on your route to becoming a chef, but then you had a child, so you had to take a back burner. But then you still ended up being that chef. What kept you going? What was your drive?
Really, my kids. No matter what accolades I get, no matter who tells me I'm good, no matter who praises my food, like I have three children that I look up to, and I want to hear them say that their daddy is that dude. So until I hear that, like none of these accolades, none of this means anything. I do this for my children. I do this to leave them a legacy. I do this to create a space to where they don't have to go work for anybody else. They can just come join the family business, whatever it is that they do.
Nice. Period. Look, I'm a little salty. I'll start to say, don't wait for them accolades before you feel like you're good, because them kids, you just can work like a Hebrew slave, and they still gonna want more. But we love them. I love my kids. But I just wanted to point that out because a lot of times, and I know I can't believe I'm saying this word, era. Growing up, people would make it feel like if you had children at a young age, or if you had children, your life was just over. But that's not always the case. You may have to fight a little harder, but I love how you said that drive just kept you going. It's about my kids. This is what I do. This is why I do it for. So your kids brought you on this journey. What brought you on being a vegetarian?
Just again, just pointing back to my kids. Hasn't always been the best father. Like I said, I got three kids, so I know I've hurt them all individual ways on my journey to be the chef. I've been not there because I've been in the kitchen all night. You feel me? I've been whatever situation, whatever harm, you feel me? Whatever hurt that I put on them, like I take responsibility for that. So just being on this journey and being on that. So what was exactly your question again? I got caught up in that.
No, it's okay. Look, you better shout out to your kids. Kids, if you're watching, your dad is doing it for you, and give him some slack, because we're all humans. Thank you. Exactly. See, we should do this like a TV show. When the guests come in, clap, and when there's those moments, oh. But so you're a vegetarian.
Yes.
And you're an athlete.
Yes,
how do you? Yeah. You're a chef, but you're a vegetarian. I need to know. Like, okay, let's talk about what it means to be a vegetarian first, because I got so many questions around this.
It's really just discipline. You're around like for me, I had to cook bacon every morning when I was at Starbucks. So that was the hardest thing for me, is not being able to pick the bacon up and eat the bacon. Because bacon was in my top 2, top 3 my favorite things to eat, especially because I love breakfast food. So that was hard, but just finding alternatives for that. It's difficult, but it makes you a better chef, because you don't get to taste everything. You have to use your other senses. You have to use your eyes. You have to smell. You have to hear. You have to touch to see when things are done. You have to have people around you that you trust to taste your food, and then not even just hearing their opinion. You have to look at their facial expressions and how they're reacting to eating your food to really get an honest grasp of what's going on. So I feel like me being a vegetarian gets me more in tune with my inner self and what's going around, and just it's a lot more spiritual.
I was gonna say it does sound spiritual, but before we even dig into that, because there's different eating options that people choose. There's vegan, there's vegetarian, there's Mediterranean. What made you choose being a vegetarian?
Just mainly just because I can eat eggs, and I can still eat other animal products that isn't necessarily meat. The difference between the vegetarian and the vegan is A vegan doesn't eat animal byproducts. So anything that comes from an animal, a vegan doesn't put in their body. So they can't eat eggs. They don't eat any thickeners that has to do with has egg in it. So there's a lot of it's a lot more discipline and a lot more details to that. And I feel like for me, I can't really eat well being a vegan. It's not very tasty.
Yeah.
So being a vegetarian is the closest thing to eat meat, and I can still put my thing on there to make it taste good.
So, oh my God, my question went out my head. So you said you were still able to eat meat.
Animal products.
Animal products. Sorry, yeah. You're right. You're a vegetarian. You're still able to eat animal products. I almost said like I'd be nervous when I eat little chickens. Sometimes little eggs. I'd be like, those are like uncooked baby chicks. So I got thrown off when you said that because I'm like I'm working on like I'm a meat eater. That's what I was gonna say. I'm a meat eater. What is discipline? What does that mean to you? Like, how did you strengthen your discipline? Because when you were talking about bacon, like when I try to even just do a fast or when I fast for certain things, I feel like this monster inside of me wakes up and just like Cookie Monster. I'll be the bacon monster.
Yeah.
What was discipline like for you? How can you describe it to people? Because we hear that word. I am working on being more disciplined in certain areas.
Yeah.
But what was that like for you? How did you strengthen it?
I mean, for me, I don't know how everybody else is, but we all strive to be better. So we all have our weaknesses and what we know we need to be good at. And then we have things that we know we can do this right now to build up to get to that. So for me, it was just building up the strength and the courage to do bigger things that I wanted to do. But for instance, like say I'm craving some fried chicken. There's like mushrooms that you can get that you could batter just like you batter chicken, and you can deep fry it. It's just as good, just as delicious. You eat it with some rice and some tomatoes. Eat it with whatever.
Ooh, I can't wait for these samples. What you bringing? No, go ahead.
So it's like no, there's a lot of things that you can do with vegetables, and being a vegetarian that you could simulate eating meat and still get that flavor without actually eating the meat.
Nice, and I love. I'm picking up some gems that you're dropping down, and I love it when people be dropping down gems. It's like, do you realize you be just dropping gems down when you're speaking? Because discipline, people think discipline is like, oh, I'm going to do it and it's going to happen. But discipline is steps.
Yeah. Then you know yourself, you know your pitfalls, you know where you're going to make mistakes at. So when you feel yourself and you know, okay, yeah, this is about to come. What are you doing to prevent that?
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful, but as long as you're preparing yourself and you know, hey, I'm seeing this and I'm noticing that, and you're taking the steps to do that, you might not get it that time, but the next time you do better. If you don't get it that time, then you just keep practicing because you know.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times people get caught up in, oh, I messed up, so now just forget it. I don't care anymore. I can't do this.
No, you gotta allow yourself to give yourself grace. You gotta give yourself that time we're not perfect. We're humans.
Hi, First Lady Karen. She said, hi, Queen Bri and Chef Tay. For someone who can't eat egg yolks or ligaments, what's some other choices for getting protein without having to eat pounds of leafy greens and veggies, right?
Well, I know for me, if I'm not getting that, I do eat a lot of beans. It's like vegetarian chilies, lentils. Lentils has a lot of protein. Lion's mane, that's a type of mushroom, rich in protein. So there's a lot of options out there that you could substitute to get that protein without having to eat a whole bunch of leafy greens and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what people think sometimes. When we think vegetarian, when we think a lot of things and it's outside the box, you always think, oh, all we have to do is eat salad.
Yeah.
All we have to do is this.
No.
For
instance, just think about your Thanksgiving meals. If you take away the turkey and you take away the ham, like all that other stuff you can eat. You can eat the mac and cheese. You can eat the dressing. You can eat the yams. Like all that other stuff is good. So you just transfer that. So that means I can eat other pastas. That means I can eat chilies. I can eat other beans. I can do like there's a plethora of
And
things you can do,
mushrooms.
and mushrooms. So just based off those foundations, you could create the same meals and just use those as substitutes.
Nice.
Another thing I like is jackfruit also.
Jackfruit.
Yeah.
That's that one like weird looking one. When you open it up, it's like yeah.
But if you go to the Asian markets and you get it in a can, then it comes already broken down for you.
And you can make that like you can make like
I do pulled pork with
yeah.
that. I do jackfruit sliders at the Black and Tan Hall. You do chili with that. It's a replacement for the shrimp and grits. People get the jackfruit and grits, and it's very delicious.
You have jackfruit and grits there?
Yeah.
Dang, you can make that on your own?
Yep.
Wow.
Just because I know I like being in the area that we are and just being in the times that we are, everybody doesn't eat meat. So I want to be able to have something for everybody to come in here and enjoy the food.
I love that. And I love like food is art.
That's all it is. I'm just an artist.
Food is art, right? Because it's like you're like, this is what I want. How can I bring this for everybody out? And that's dope. That's really good. I would have never thought jackfruit, shrimp and grits. What goes into like what is what is the seasonings to that? Because I'm like, I'm going into that because
I mean, for me, I keep it simple. So once you don't use the brine that's in there, because that's just going to cook off and burn off real easily. So you drain the brine, and then I like to break it up first, and then I get an orange. I break an orange up, just cut it in half, put that in there, and just put it with some water and a little bit of orange juice, whatever citrus juice that's sweet. Now just let that boil for at least an hour. So that's going to bring in the flavors. So then once the water reduces about halfway, it's about time to add whatever other flavor profile you want to put in there.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm just blown away by jackfruit, shrimp and grits. And this is what I'm happy to have you here because sometimes people want to change their eating habit, but they get nervous at what they've heard this certain thing is. But then when you start to do the research and when you start to really come up with plans, it's more to it, and there's so many variety of things to eat with it.
I mean, the knowledge is in the book, so if you just read it and pick up some books and that's another thing. I started reading heavy, so like I don't read as much as I was, but just reading about other chefs, reading about other people's journeys. Like I love hearing like biography. I like reading biographies. I love reading other people's stories, other people's journeys, how they overcame their obstacles, stuff like that. So that's the stuff that motivates me to be a better chef.
Nice. And then being a chef and also cooking meat, how do you remain strong when all your seasonings is melting in that pot with the meat?
At this point, and it's nothing to me. Like now I'm to the point where I'm scared. I don't like to throw up. I'm scared to throw up. So just the thought of that keeps me from going back. Like, I don't even want to put no meat in my mouth just
because it's been a while.
Yeah, and I don't know how my body's gonna react. So if I get sick, I'm gonna be hot. Yeah. So that's one thing that keeps me from doing that. So yeah, I'm scared to get sick.
So you're a chef, and you're also. How do you prepare for people who are busy? How are just starting? What are some quick, easy things to start with being a vegetarian?
Really just looking at your daily eating habits. Like what exactly are you putting in your body? Are you knowledgeable about what you put in your body? Do you know exactly how much meat, how much that? If you know that, then you're able to cut things back. Like for me, I started out with meatless Monday. Like I was breaking down some pork. I'm like, man, I seen all kind of stuff. I had to cut out the pork. I'm like, I'm not, as much as I love pulled pork, I'm not eating this today. I woke up the next day, like energetic. Like, I'm like, whoa, is this from me not eating meat? Went through the whole day. I was just, I was on it. Next day felt the same. I was, okay, yeah, we got to keep this going. How long can we keep it? So just knowing what you're putting into your body, knowing your intake, and that way you're not just cold turkey. You can gradually take yourself off. If you know you eat beef heavy at this time, start off with just cutting off the beef, taking out the beef. Start off with, instead of eating pork bacon, replace it with turkey bacon. Just eating cleaner. So turkey bacon's like, if you fry it hard, turkey bacon's
like,
hard.
It depends on who makes it. Yeah.
So
or
like
which turkey bacon you get, because I have tasted some that tasted good.
So like for me, before I was even a
and I'm not
vegetarian,
tasting his eating.
I was eating clean. So I replaced like making chili instead of the ground beef. I was using ground turkey instead of regular bacon. I was eating turkey bacon. So little things like that. Just I was already on my way to being a vegetarian. I didn't know it. So that's why I said that's the spiritual side, because it was leading me
to that. Yeah,
exactly.
I feel that, because like even with my chili, and I'm gonna get your question answered real quick, First Lady. But even with my chili, I stopped putting meat, and I will make sure I put a lot of vegetables in there, like carrots that feels like that crunchy, or that hard, that like close to meat, and bell pepper, and what else did I put in there? For sure carrots, bell peppers, and there was onions, just to get that crunch or that taste that you usually get when you get meat. So that was very helpful to me in that taste, and it tastes better. Like you said, you feel so much better.
A good idea too. Add some lentils. Lentils is like a beef replacement, so that'd be that filler that you would think that you're eating meat.
Okay, nice.
So that's exactly what I use at the Black and Tan Hall. I only use meat in my chili. I use lentils.
Lentils, oh, that sounds so good. I remember one time my kids brought home this. I love the school. It was teaching them how to change their eating habits. So they brought home a recipe. My daughter brought home a recipe for rainbow chili, but I wasn't a vegetarian at the time. But like you said, instead of using beef, I added turkey meat. But the rainbow chili alone was so good. It was just like different chilies, different vegetables that you add in there, and just made it colorful. But for people who can't eat beans, I know we said ligaments, but people who can't, dried beans are ligaments. So there's different options like pasta, you said, right? But the protein, where do they get the protein from then?
Different ways. It all depends. So there is, like for me, if I'm making a pasta, it's not good to eat all the time, but I do like the Impossible meat. That's a good way to get some protein in you. They do have like the Impossible chicken as well. I wouldn't recommend eating that all the time just because it's very high in calories and stuff like that. And so you don't really know exactly what's getting put into there. But yeah, I would use that. I would use let's see. I mean, really, there's not really a lot of different things. You just have to do the research real quick. Let me see, like the top 5 things. I have my little recipe sheet right here.
I'm like, wow, I don't know what I would be if I couldn't eat beans, but I never think of protein.
Oh yeah, I forgot about my go-to, tofu. So for me, like eating tofu was hard just because of the texture thing, but now it's like one of the main things that I eat just because I figured out that if I fried it hard, not even necessarily hard, it's just a texture thing, just get a little texture on there, bread it with some cornstarch. That does it for me, and that's soaks up a lot of different flavors of whatever you're cooking it with. So I do love jackfruit, tofu, beans, my eggs, and my lentils. So for me, that's my top 5.
Okay. And then also quinoa.
Yep, quinoa.
Quinoa. I always say that wrong. I always want to make it sound so much different.
And quinoa is just a type of pasta. Also, it's just high in protein.
Fortified high protein pastas.
Yep,
is what Deacon Janice said. Load this off. Okay, there we go. I might need to get these letters expanded. My little old lady eyes is like, what are they saying over there? But yeah, so those are some different options. If you're just tuning in, you're tuning into Clean Greens, broadcasting here live on Rainier Avenue Radio. It is your host, Queen Bri, and resident chef from the Black and Tan. Oh, thank you. Black and Tan Hall. Tay Proctor-Mills is in the building. We're just talking about his journey on veganism. Not veganism. Lord, why do I want you to be a vegan so bad?
Don't do that to me.
Right. Lord, please don't let that be my spiritual journey. But being a vegetarian and what that looks like. And then the spiritual side about it, you talk about how going on the vegetarian has brought you on your spiritual side.
Mhm.
What do you think that is?
Just walking in my purpose and just figuring out exactly what I'm here for. Like I've had a lot of spiritual encounters when it comes to like animals and stuff like that. So just being aware of my surroundings and what's going on and yeah, stuff like that. So I've seen a lot of eagles hunting. I've seen white owls. I've seen white owls in pairs. I've seen coyotes. So I've had encounters with all these different animals at different times. So it all meant something.
Nice. Okay. What is one starter go-to meal somebody can try out? So we said meatless Mondays is an option.
Yep.
What's a quick, nice go-to meal that people could try when it comes to starting to see if they want to be vegetarian?
For me, I would do some fried mushrooms.
Mm.
Fried mushrooms and rice, and you can do a mushroom gravy and you can smother it.
Oh, that sounds good, actually.
Yeah.
So do you what oils do you use when you fry the mushroom?
Canola oil.
Canola oil. Okay. Is there a difference? Is there a difference in like your preference in oils, or you just
Whatever. I like oils with high burn contents just because the guy has to be universal. So canola, don't go anything under vegetable. And it all depends on like who I'm cooking for too. So like peanut oil is one of the highest burn contents, but if I have somebody with a peanut allergy, I can't necessarily use peanut oil.
Ooh, Daniel, what is that? That looks delicious. Is that a fried rice with some mushrooms? Oh, okay. Maybe you need to add that to your menu, Chef Tay. No, just joking.
I do have a 5-course dinner coming up too, and it does have vegetarian options. If you guys want to hear the menu options for that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be the first course is going to be pureed sweet potatoes, and it's going to be
sweet potatoes
with brisket on top, and it's going to be with my special sauce that I'm going to have on there. So it's a secret, but it's going to be flavorful. The vegetarian option is going to be the roasted jackfruit on top of the sweet potato. That's actually the second course. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. That's time. But you're going to come back next week.
Yes, I will be back next week.
He will be back next week, and we'll pick back up on this 5-course meal. Because I know you're going to be pairing that with some wines too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week. So please tune in next Tuesday. Up next is Phil M. And celebrating our 400th episode. Woo, woo! Congratulations. Bye.